All right. Good evening and welcome everyone. This is our first live lecturette practice session. So this is Sahil sir welcoming you. Now today we are starting with our lecturette practice series. We have 5 participants and all of them are repeaters. So how it will work is beforehand I've given them topics. They'll be speaking on it one by one, and after they are done speaking, we'll be discussing about their performance, what was good, what was bad. I'm sure all of you know that how lecture it is conducted in the actual SSB. As those who are watching us, candidates are made to sit in a semicircle, and one person is, one person has to pick up the chits kept in front of them. There are 4 topics in it, having varying degree of difficulty. Okay, difficulty level 1, difficulty level 2, level 3, and level 4. One topic is very, very easy. Anyone can speak on it, more like a pravachan, a preachy kind of a topic. Things like, importance of health and life, my father, my best friends, and things like that. And then you have more difficult, and then you have the most difficult topic. And we will be conducting our practice with the intention of mastering the most difficult topics. Okay, there are few topics which you must know by heart when you go for SSB, and which will 95% help you a lot in your lecturate as well as your group discussion and your personal interview. So we'll start with Kanishk today. Okay, I'll put everyone backstage. So Kanishk, your topic is my greatest achievement. Okay, you'll be given, I'll give you time, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, the beep will go on. So that's a signal for you that you need to start wrapping up. Okay? Okay? So I'll get Kanishk to speak. Are you ready, Kanishk?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your time starts now.
I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit, suffer now, and live rest of life as a champion. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Kanishk, I'll be speaking on the topic of my greatest achievement. From my school days, I was very obese and very fat, due to which I started boxing in Indira Gandhi Stadium in 2015. My big brother, who is now in CRPF, told me to encourage me to join boxing as I was very obese. To stay fit, I just started boxing to become healthy, not to be more actively participant in it. But gradually, my interest was increasing in boxing as I started seeing my seniors who were practicing day by day, talking about how to jab, how to self defense, how to cross, how to hook, or how to uppercut, or how to just play in the ring. By watching them, I always thought that I want to be like them. I want to become fit, and I want to be one of the good boxers here in my stadium also. Then in 2015 only, I participated in the district competition in which I was not able to grab any medal, and from that I practiced a lot, and from that in 2016 I participated in the district competition where I was able to get the gold medal, and from which I was selected to become a part of my state team. And in my state team, but unfortunately I lost in my quarterfinal, and that day I promised my dad that I will bag gold medal in the next Delhi state. Sir, after that, in my next 5 consecutive state championship, I was able to bag gold medals. And because and that quarterfinal loss made me realize that how where I was lacking. I started training more and more, talking because my defense was very weak. I was a good boxer in my attacking stance, but I was not good that much in my defense because I had a broad shoulder. That's why I was not able to defend that much. My guard was not that up. So after that, when I bagged the first gold medal, I was very happy, and from that I got selected to represent my state into nationals. And in nationals, I lost in my first bout because I was not that much prepared. I analyzed my mistake with my coaches. They told me that how should you increase your stamina. You should be doing if I we have 3 round of 3 minutes each in boxing, in amateur boxing. My sir said that you have to practice at least for 10 rounds so you can stand that 3 minutes in national championship. Again, sir, I have to play that district championship back gold medal to represent my club. Then after I went to Delhi State in 2007, 2018, and from that I got back gold medal, and I was best boxer in that tournament. I was then selected to represent my state in national boxing championship, and in that national boxing championship I lost in semi-final. I bagged bronze medal, and from that in 2018 all India selectors Indian team was getting made in for junior and youth boxing championship. So I was got picked in that India camp. And sir, for
Kanishk,
the
it's more than 3 minutes. I guess you did not hear the beep or it was not loud enough, but it's more than 3 minutes. Now we'll just stop here. Kanishk, few things for you. Kanishk, first thing is when you start the lecturette, okay, when you will speak in front of your group there, it's advisable not to start the way you started. That it's all. What was the first line you said?
Sir, I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit, suffer now, and live rest of your life champion. So it was said by Muhammad Ali, sir.
Right. Now, the thing is, you are going to speak on one particular topic for 3 minutes, right? And the people who are sitting in front of you, they're going to listen to you. However, if it is not at all clear to them for the first 1.5, 2 minutes what you are speaking about, how will they feel? Plus, what
Yes,
does it say about your own mental acumen? So, when you start the topic, please introduce the topic as your first line. Good morning, friends. Today I'm going to talk about my greatest achievement. So they will know what you're going to speak about, you know. And second thing, Kanish, I personally would never advise anyone to start their lecturate with this kind of line. You know, I hate it. It's a very filmy and very odd kind of a start. Be on the
yes, sir.
ground. Okay, be simple. You have been a national level boxer. I knew that you will speak something in that regard. It's okay. It's our first day today. This is also your first round. You're sitting for lecture practice. Of course, online practice has its own limits and limitations, but we'll at least learn how to speak properly. So it's fine. I will not say too much about how you spoke. It's been your journey. You have been till national silver medalist, right, in boxing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's fine. For the day, I will not say much. We'll just move to the second participant. Okay. And then we'll see how she's performing. But at least make that change. And of course,
Okay.
the pauses, the breaks will disappear with time. Will stay put. Okay. So don't worry. Okay. All right. We'll not
Yes, sir.
evaluate your today's performance too much. Now we'll move to the second candidate, and that is Ankita. Ankita, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Your topic was NCC, right? Topic allotted to you.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So your time starts now.
Good evening, sir, and good evening, everyone. My today's lecture topic is National Cadet Corps (NCC). NCC is a voluntary youth military organization which comes under the Ministry of Defense. It is a tri-service organization which has Army, Navy, and Air Force wing. The organization aims at developing character, comradeship, leadership, secularism, discipline, and unity in Indian youth. The motto of NCC is unity and discipline. And today's NCC origin traces back to 20th century when when the British government sought to create a reserve of trained youth for going to the World War II. Currently, the NCC that we have in India is due to the NCC Act in 1948. NCC has SWs, SDs, JWs, and JDs. That is, it is divided into four wings, which has boy cadets as well as girl cadets. NCC provides multiple opportunities for the development of youth of our country. For example, it gives us in institute training as well as in camp training, which helps us in building a disciplined routine. It provides opportunities for learning drills, for learning weaponry, for learning about our Indian armed forces, and it also provides opportunities for adventure and for cultural integration. NCC has multiple camps. It has state level camps as well as national and international level camp. Some state level camps include the Ek Bharat Shresh Bharat camp, wherein two states come together and they learn about each other's culture. The Prime Minister's rally is another state level and national level camp, which wherein our Honorable Prime Minister facilitates the cadets who have performed best throughout the year. And then there is Republic Day camp and Thal Sainik camp, which are also prestigious national level camps. Coming to the international level camps, NCC provides opportunities to the youth for exchange programs with other countries, and that is the Youth Exchange Program. India has good relations with multiple countries like UK, US, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and our cadets go there and exchange our culture with other cadets. That's it for today. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Okay, not bad. For first round, it's very good, Ankita, actually. Very intelligently you went about it. Nicely said. Points covered nicely in good sequence. The only thing is the end was very abrupt. Okay. The moment you have that 2 minutes, 30 seconds clap, the group testing officer, he will give you a signal either through, they have a clap or something. All right, the wooden clap or something they will have. The moment you get that, slowly you should drift towards closing. You quickly closed. Don't do that. That was too abrupt. Okay. Otherwise, nothing bad. Now, Ankita, it was good. You anyways are quite intelligent. I have high hopes from you. God willing, in your first attempt, you'll be through. Now I'll remove you from stage. Now it will be Bapini's turn to speak. In fact, we'll do one thing. We'll give the next turn to Nancy rather than Bapini. All right. So, Nancy, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Nancy, your time starts now.
Okay. Empower a woman, empower a generation. A very warm good evening to one and all present here. I am very fortunate to have my lecturate topic as women empowerment. We all know that women empowerment means giving women the power, the freedom, the opportunity to make their own decision and with full dignity and equality. In simple words, we can say that ensuring that women have the same rights, the same opportunities and respect as men in our society. Historically, we have seen that there are various women who have taken part in wars in situations like men have done in entire world, including India, have faced discrimination in areas like education, empowerment, employment, and decision making. However, over the years, we have seen that some reforms, some awareness are there and helped, and that have helped women in our society. The first and most important pillar of a woman empowerment, which can be education. So like when a woman is educated, we say that her whole family is educated. She become aware of her rights, and she is able to contribute not only to her family but also to the society. It is often said that if you educate a man, you educate an individual, but if you educate a woman, you educate the whole family. And if we say the second important pillar or the second important factor is the economic independence. When women have access to jobs, to financial resources, they gain confidence and the ability to make independent choices. Today, we see that women excelling in fields like science, sports, politics, business, and even armed forces. And this is because of women empowerment only. Another key aspect we can say that making the society more aware and spreading awareness and respect towards the women. Like we have seen that laws alone cannot empower women unless the society changes its mindset. We all must have heard about the codes which are there related to women, but are we actually focusing on that? Are we actually implementing those? I myself have been an engineer and have seen how many women have taken engineering as their career. We have very less ratio of women in our fields, and not just in engineering, but in any field. We have seen women in less participation than men. And the government has also taken many initiatives like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and women reservations in several sectors, which aim to improve the condition of women in our society. And I would like to say that women empowerment is not just the women's issue, it's moreover the societal issue. Uh, our nation can progress only if both men and women work together equally. Because we know that 50% men, 50% population is men and 50% is women. I would like to now end my lecturate by saying a quote that Yat Naritstu Pujante Ramante Tatra Devata, meaning where women are worshipped, deity reside there. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Now see, initially we started with Kanishk. We gave a very easy topic to him, the kind of topic anyone will be able to speak on. Those are preachy kind of topics on which you can give a long lecture. Even a person who has never been to school, a chaiwala, if you call him and ask him to speak on these topics, they will be able to speak. And I'm addressing everyone here, not just Nancy. Then we moved to a mid-level difficulty topic, that is NCC. And then we came to this topic, which will fall in that category of topic, which can be considered most difficult. And Nancy, you spoke intelligently. You were good with the flow of thoughts. Everything was good, except the most important thing was missing. What was it? Facts and figures. When you come to the most difficult of topics, you should be very good with numbers. There are few topics every SSB aspirant needs to know like the back of his palm. Women empowerment is amongst the top in that list. Okay, it will come for JD very, very often. Women empowerment is there almost in all the entries and almost all the batches which happen in the lecturette chits. Okay, I'll give you a small understanding now about how you should speak or how you should prepare yourself for lecturette, group discussion, or even personal interview or current affairs. Very briefly, I'll run you through a presentation so that you will understand, all of you will understand how you should actually study it. Okay, so Nancy, I'll now remove you from stage. Take care. All right. Now let me just run you through a PPT presentation. All right. Now see, whenever you study any topic, be it international relations, current affairs, right now the war going on between Iran versus Israel and USA, any topic that you prepare, my advice is, or the method I recommend is, study it from different dimensions. Okay, study it from different angles, different aspects. All right. So when you're studying women empowerment, you should ideally study it from important aspects like, for example, education. One of the most important thing, which is related to empowerment, not just of women, but populations in general. Okay. Then second is something like healthcare. Very, very important. Women's health in our countries, as it is under a lot of, the data is very negative. Then third aspect of a woman's life or even a man's life is related to marriage. Okay, so you should study data related to this. Now, for today, I'll help you understand with the education perspective how you should prepare for women's empowerment. And when you speak, now Nancy spoke very eloquently, very beautifully. She was able to put across her thoughts very nicely. There were no pauses, no hiccups. But the most important thing was missing. It's like telling someone that please come to my house for, paneer, kadai paneer, I'll serve you, and there is no paneer in it. Everything is there, but there's no paneer in it. Now let's see how you should study, the education aspect or any aspect of women empowerment or any topic. Now the presentation I'll run you through will be slightly longer, more detailed, but the purpose is if you study this much, you will be able to retain 40%. And out of that 40%, I think half of it, you will be able to remember under that stressful situation if you have not adequately revised it and rehearsed it. Okay, so let's start with the education aspect of women empowerment. Okay, female literacy rates in India. Now, in 1951, when India got independence, the women's literacy rate was around 9%, very, very low. But over the decades, it has increased. By the time 1971 came, it became around 22%. Then by the time 1991 came, it became around 39%. And by the time 2011 arrived, it became around 65%, 64.63%. This is all census data. And you can see there has been a gradual rise in this. But then where are we facing a problem? The main problem is in the gender gap. And why, by the way, women empowerment is considered so important in our country, why it's there in your lecturette chats, why it always comes for JD, because women are 50% of our population roughly, but they are severely lagging behind men in almost every sphere of life, in almost every sphere. Now, because we have this 50% population lagging behind in every sphere, our country as a whole ends up lagging behind compared to where the world is going. Okay, so that's why women empowerment is very important. And now we will study how the statistics prove it, that if women are educated in your country, the whole country grows very nicely. I'll help you understand that. Now, gender gap is a big problem. For instance, in 1951, the male literacy was around 27.15%, whereas female literacy being at around 8.86%, roughly 9%, which was a gap of nearly 18 percentage points. So there was a huge male-female divide. That same trend has continued even till 2011. Okay. For instance, male literacy reached around 81%, while female literacy was at around 65%. The gap narrowed to around 16 percentage points. So 1951, 18 percentage points, 2011, roughly 60 years later, the gap is pretty much the same, just a reduction of 2%. That is where the main problem of our country is. Although both rates improved, women consistently lagged behind men, highlighting persistent problems with our quality education system. Okay. All right, gender inequality. But then there is another way of looking at it, and there is regional variation. This gender bias is not uniform throughout the country. In some parts of our country, women have performed better. I mean, the education level is better, and in some part, it's really very bad. The situation is very bad. Now, for example, if you study Kerala, female literacy rate exceeded 90% by 2011, showing the impact of strong social policies. We all know Kerala's literacy rate is very good. Okay. Now compare that with Bihar and Rajasthan. Female literacy rate remained below 60% in 2011, reflecting socio-economic and cultural barriers. So on one side, you have a state like Kerala, part of our own country, where the female literacy rate is exceeding 90%. And then in the same country, you have two other states, Bihar and Rajasthan, where the female literacy rate is still below 60%. So there is a strong difference, there is strong variation, mostly resulting from cultural barriers, socio-economic and cultural barriers. Now, why this matters? Economic empowerment. Literate women contribute more effectively to the workforce. Towards the end of this presentation, I'll show you statistical data which will help you understand that in a society and even in organizations where women are more in leadership role, they are more educated, the organizations perform better. They tend to perform better. They are more profitable. Okay, I'll show you with data, with studies. All right. Now, health and family welfare. Literate women are more likely to access healthcare, reduce child mortality, and improve family well-being. That is how female literacy correlates with lower child mortality and better family health outcomes. Social change. Education empowers women politically and socially, reducing inequality. Now, female literacy rates by country. Now, first, let's compare ourselves with our BRICS friends, economies which are more or less at our level. Okay. So in BRICS, you have Brazil. As per 2022 data, the literacy rate of women is roughly 95%, which is 30% more than India. Okay, even though the country is almost at the same economic level, probably even below us. Then you have Russia, 100%. Okay, all BRICS members. China, 97%, and South Africa, 93%. South Africa got independence just around 1990. And still, 2020 data shows that their literacy rate of women is 93%. India is lagging behind in a major way. Okay. Now compare this with our neighbor, our beloved neighbor, Pakistan, whom we all love a lot. Look at them, they are at 49%. Saudi Arabia, now see the stark difference. Saudi Arabia is one country where up until now, women were legally, they were suppressed, you can say. They were not allowed to, drive a car. There were a lot of restrictions on what they can do, what they cannot do. Officially, the laws were different for men and women. Even now, to a great extent, that is there. But still, see what they are doing and how beautifully they are performing. 96% is their literacy rate. Iran, where all, both the countries, Israel and United States, from last 2-3 weeks, are repeatedly saying that women are suppressed and women are tortured in that country. It has an 85% female literacy rate. And especially in Iran, if you take a look at below 25 women literacy rate, that is close to 99%. So Iran is performing beautifully. Okay, in spite of being under sanctions since 1979. Okay, all right. Still, that country is performing very beautifully and much better than us. Okay, then our neighbor Nepal, which is much more poorer compared to India. Even Nepal is at the same level as India, 65%. So we are really poor in terms of our performance. We need to do much better. Sri Lanka, another neighbor of ours, 97% women literacy rate. So India is lagging behind. Always remember, guys, when you are studying data, you should compare it. Compare it with better economies, compare it with economies which are at the same level, so that you will understand whether we are doing well or whether we are performing in a very poor manner. Okay, then Bangladesh, another neighbor of ours, even that is doing better than India at 74%. Then let's talk about population in India who have never attended school. Okay, population in India never attended school, all ages, across all ages. You'll be able to see that there are nearly 310 million people in India across all ages who have never been to school, never ever been to school, never set foot in any educational institution. Out of these, 200 million are women. So roughly 2/3, 65% of all the people who have never set foot in an educational institution are women. So it shows women are at a huge disadvantage in a society like ours. 110 million men have never been to school, 200 million women have never been to school. Nearly 65% of the population which has never set foot in an educational institution is of women. Okay, gender gap. Women make up nearly 2/3 of India's population who have never attended school. Then if you look at state-wise numbers of women who never attended school, even from women empowerment perspective, you should study it like this, because it helps you understand in which part of our country the problem is more severe and in which part of our country things are comparatively much better. Okay, so if you take a look at the state-wise data, you'll be able to understand that the worst performing state is Uttar Pradesh as per 2011 census. As per 2011 census, there were nearly 30 million women in Uttar Pradesh who had never been to school across all ages, okay, across all age groups. Then second spot goes to Bihar with 20 million women never having been to school. Rajasthan comes third at around 13 million. Madhya Pradesh is at around 11 million. West Bengal is at around 10 million. And the northeastern states have around less than 1 million women each. So this helps you understand that the central and northern part of India, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, MP, that belt is really lagging behind in a major way. Whereas if you compare it with the northeastern states, we all know the level of education in northeast is very good. Okay, women empowerment scenario when it comes to northeast is really good. So then you have Kerala. Even in Kerala, it's less than 1 million women. Then Tamil Nadu, the same case. So southern states are performing much better. The central and northern states is where the main problem is. So key conclusion, about 200 million women across India have never attended school. So that is the main point coming out from this. Regional disparity, northern and central states account for the majority of excluded women. southern and northeastern states show far better inclusion, the very low numbers of women excluded, with very low number of women excluded. Generational effect, most of these women are from older age groups. Younger populations show much better, higher enrollment rates. Of course, we can understand that, isn't it? Now, let's talk about school enrollment. All right. When it comes to school enrollment, as per the data of Unified District Information System for Education, which is, of course, data generated by government, as per its report of 2023-24, India currently has about 260 million children enrolled in schools from pre-primary to class 12, that is. And of these, roughly 135 million are boys and 125 million are girls, meaning boys make up 52% of school enrollment and girls make up around 48%. That is pretty okay. The gender gap has narrowed significantly over the past 2 decades. In the early 2000s, girls accounted for close to 45% of school enrollment. So there has been a 3% increase. So things are improving. All right. Now, however, when you take a look at the dropout rates, then you are able to see that the female dropout rate is higher throughout. Right from primary till 12th, the female dropout rate is higher. Now, for instance, at the primary level, the female dropout rate is nearly 1.2%, whereas the male dropout rate is just 1%. Then in the upper primary, that is grades 6 to 8, female dropout rate is around 2.7%, male dropout rate is around 2.3%. Then in around grades 9 to 10, the female dropout rate is around 12.3%, male dropout rate is around 10.9%. Then senior secondary 11, 12, female dropout rate is around 18.7%, male dropout rate is around 16.4%. Key conclusions: girls' dropout rate increased steadily with age and level of schooling. It is said in, studies have shown that nearly 23% of girls drop out of school the moment puberty sets in, when menstruation cycles start, because in schools the hygiene facility is not there adequately. So that becomes one of the biggest reasons of dropouts. Okay, the gap between boys and girls widens at secondary and senior secondary levels. One of the main reasons is what I've already stated. Then key conclusions: girls' dropout rate increased steadily with age and level of schooling. Gap between boys and girls widens with secondary and senior secondary level. Main reasons include early marriage, household responsibility, safety concern, and financial constraints. Sorry. Now, what are the challenges? Dropout risk. Girls are more likely to leave school after age 14, especially in rural areas. And the reason I've already explained. Regional disparity: northern states, that is Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, show lower female enrollment compared to southern states. Infrastructure issues: lack of sanitation facilities and safe transport disproportionately affect girls' as attendance. These are the things which also matter. Let's discuss college and university education scenario. School we saw. Let's talk about college and university. In India's higher education system, there are currently about 43.3 million students enrolled in colleges and universities. Of these, roughly 21.3 million are men and about 22 million are women, meaning women now slightly outnumber men in college enrollment. One very, very important point to understand, guys. What it clearly proves is that if somehow you can support a girl and help her reach till 12th and then take admission in college, the probability that she will study for graduation and post-graduation is higher compared to male students. Okay, all right. I hope you understand that. If you support a girl and bring her till 12th and let her take admission in first year of college, the probability that she will study for post-graduation, the higher courses, will be higher compared to male students. Okay. Then All India Survey of Higher Education 2021-2022 data, what does it show? The total enrollment in higher education is around 43.3 million students, female 22 million, male enrollment is around 21.3 million, Female share is around 50.8% and male share is around 49.2%. So at college level, the female enrollment is higher in India. Okay, for the first time, women slightly outnumber men in college enrollment nationwide. Regional variation, southern states show higher female participation, and northern states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan still have lower female enrollment, though improving. Field differences, very, very important to understand, guys. Very important to understand. Women, even after 12th, what are they studying? It's very important for us to understand. Women dominate in arts, humanities, medicine, and education. So mostly they will go for courses like Bachelor of Arts, or they will go for, B.Ed, whereas men dominate engineering, technology, and commerce. So the professional courses like engineering, all the tech related courses, those are dominated by men. All right. Female enrollment has grown faster than male enrollment in the past decade, narrowing and now reversing the gender gap. Challenges, dropout risk higher. Despite higher enrollment, women face higher dropout rates at senior secondary and college levels due to marriage, family responsibilities, and social pressures. Employment gap, women's participation in the workforce remains lower than men, even though they now enroll in college at equal or higher rates. And then STEM imbalance. Women are still underrepresented in engineering and technology, despite overall parity in higher education. Okay, science, technology, E is for engineering and M is for mathematics, that is STEM. India's college enrollment is now slightly female majority. We saw this point, will not repeat it. We'll just touch this last point before we move to the next participant. And guys, in the coming days, I'll be teaching you all these things in great detail, further detail. Today, we are just warming up. This is our first session. Okay, I don't want to bore you with too much data. So if you talk about PG courses, every year in India, about 4.3 million students enroll in PG courses. Of these, roughly 2.2 million are women and about 2.1 million are men, meaning women now slightly outnumber men in PG enrollment. So as I said earlier, that if you support a girl and let her come till the first year of college, she will study till PG. The possibility is very high. Okay. Then again, AISHE data of 2021-22 for total PG enrollment in India is around 4.3 million students. Women out of this are 2.2 million and men are 2.1 million. So there has been a steady increase and women have a higher enrollment rate now. Key points, women now form a slight majority in postgraduate education, unlike in undergraduate engineering where men dominate. Field distribution, women are concentrated in arts, humanities, we already saw. Okay, regional variation, southern states have higher female enrollment. Now, workforce gap, women's participation in the labor force remains lower than men, even though they now enroll in PG courses at equal or higher rates. STEM imbalance, women remain underrepresented in post-graduation engineering and technology programs. Key conclusion, India's postgraduate enrollment is now slightly female majority with 2.2 million women versus 2.1 million men each year. This marks a major milestone in gender equity in higher education, though challenges remain in retention, field distribution, and workforce participation. So we will stop here. There is a lot more I can teach you, but today's first day, we'll take it light. And now we'll move to the next participant, that is Bapini. And Bapini will be the next one to speak. So Bapini, what was
Yes,
your
sir.
topic? What was the topic given to you?
Sir, topic is that the problem faced by soldiers.
All right. So are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your time starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. So today I am going to lecture about the problem about soldiers. So, first of all, I would like to say the first problem is that faced by the soldier, that is the adaptability of the climate. When soldiers came to the altitude, they faced the climate changes. from because they are leaving the here, and they going to the altitude. They face the adaptability with the climate. When they go there and face to the minus, and they face some issues there. And second is that's adaptability with the other soldiers. When they go to the next posting to summer, they are not adaptable to the peoples with for some time, but after some time they will adapt with all the people. And sir, most problem faced by the soldier is currently the travel issue, sir. So travel issue because of the ticket, that leave is not sanctioned by the authority. But later he sanctioned the leave within 1 month, and he could not unable to take ticket within time. So there is a ticket. A ticket is waiting, and soldiers are not good facilitated to on the train. Also, they are fined by the TT, and that is the biggest issue, sir, of the soldier. And sir, talking about the family of the soldiers are facing in village. There are some issues of legal issues. Also, when the soldiers are serving country with border, but their families are not safe in the village. And because of that, the Indian government has facilitated to the Indian currently. Also, sir, talking about when soldiers after pension came to the social, they are not adapted with the social. And when they are only in alone and live in another place, when after pension, they are not adapted with the socially. And social relations is total breakdown after the pension, sir. And sir, talking about the financial issues, when the soldiers are not well about the financier, when they are returning from service, they are not well educated about the financials, and they have faced after the pension, sir. It is all about that. That is it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, Bapini, that is whatever you have said, we'll discuss that, but the session will prove useful for all others to learn as well as to you. Okay. Now, Bapini, uh, you're learning, we all are learning. Okay. So this is not some scolding session, but
Yes, sir.
Bapini, most of what you have said is something
Yes,
I
sir.
will never advise anyone to say during the SSB. Never. Okay, I'll help you understand logically why and how. That's why I noted down points, because you were literally creating big barrier for your recommendation by speaking all these things. Okay, all right. Now, whatever you have said, whether it's a serving soldier saying this, whether it's a civilian saying this, what will the board member feel, whether it's a group testing officer, whether it's the deputy president who is taking your interview, or anyone who is serving in army, what they will feel? This is what you are able to see in army. Okay, let's say if a civilian is saying all these things, they'll feel like this is what you see in army, then tomorrow you are just going to crib. Now let me one by one, let me talk about whatever you have said. Climate change and adaptability. Okay, all right. Now, Bapini, if you analyze it carefully, I seriously doubt if this is a problem. I guess what you wanted to say was something else, or what you should have said should have been something else. I'll help you understand. Whenever anyone gets posted to an altitude area, there is a proper SOP for acclimatization. I will not get into the debate whether it's actually followed on the ground or not. We are not getting into it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sometimes,
Great, sir.
sometimes the period of acclimatization can be shortened due to requirements. Those problems can be there. But it's not as if our army is blind to the fact that if you are being posted to an altitude area, you need to acclimatize. They're mindful of it. It's included in the SOPs, right? You can
Great, sir.
talk about the harshness of the weather conditions, that you can talk about. Okay, a lot of our soldiers, they sit in areas where the temperature dips to something like -30, -40, -50. Okay, it can have
Right,
severe
sir.
repercussions on health. Our soldiers posted in altitude area, the biggest problem, health issue they face at times is of edema, cerebral edema, pulmonary edema, right? Water filling inside your lungs
Yeah.
and water filling inside your brain. These are some of the most common problems, isn't it?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Sir.
Snow blindness, that's why you're supposed to wear goggles all the time in altitude areas. So
Yes, sir.
that is a challenge you face against mother nature rather than Indian army making you face a challenge. Okay, all right. Second thing, never to talk about having problem in adjusting or mingling up with people, or that it takes time for anyone. Okay, factor two. What is factor two? All the qualities which they are gauging during your SSB are divided into four categories. Each category is called a factor. Okay, factor two, the biggest quality is under factor two, social adaptability. How quickly, and how easily you mingle up with people who are not from your cultural background, who are not from your religious background, who are not from your linguistic background.
Right,
Okay,
sir.
all right. So basically, what it is trying to check, how quickly and easily you mingle up with strangers, isn't it? Strangers,
Right.
people whom you were not knowing till a moment ago, how quickly and easily can you mingle up with them? That is social adaptability. Now here, by actually giving a verbal proof that, oh my God, it's so difficult, you are actually confirming it will be difficult for you in the future. So the group testing officer is getting to see the reality of how you will be as an officer in the future. You will have a tough time mingling up with people in new unit. And that's it. Such a major negative quality is getting displayed from your lecturer. Very innocently, you are saying everything, isn't it? But what is he extracting from it? Okay, so this is your problem. So tomorrow you are going to have a problem mingling up with people. That's it. You are not making you an officer. Now think about it. An officer is supposed to be a person who will take care of his 100 people in company, depending on his rank. It can be a section of 10, it can be a platoon of 30, it can be a company of 100, it can be a battalion of anywhere between 600 to 1000 roughly. So you need to be very social, very interactive. Here as a candidate, if we are going to give proof that I have a tough time mingling up with people, they will know tomorrow as an officer you will not be able to mingle up with people.
Right,
So
sir.
very
Right, sir.
quality is getting displayed. Okay. What is the major danger with this kind of a person? If I am an antisocial person, I have difficulty in mingling up with strangers and with people I have met just recently, then tomorrow I'm going to be very uncomfortable, again and again having to go to units where people don't know me and I don't know them. Then I will become a little irritated, agitated, short-tempered kind of a person. And then all the subordinates will stay away from me because they will feel this is a problem person. And then what happens? If your subordinates are maintaining,
Sir, sound issue, sir. From the sound also coming from another sound, sir. When you were
no.
speaking,
Okay, all right. Now you are able to hear me clearly? Guys,
no, sir.
everyone else keep
Also,
your
when you,
site on mute. No, everyone else is on mute. Okay, so yeah, I guess it's fine. A little bit of disturbance is okay. Now, see, if your other ranks, your JCOs, they are going to maintain a distance with you, you will not know what is happening in the unit. Bapini, where are you gone? Okay, all right. Then the third thing you had spoken about is travel. My God, I just don't get tickets. How do I go home? These are, these are all cribbing kind of things. These are not challenges you face. What kind of things I would advise somebody should speak about when they're asked what are the problems faced by soldiers, regardless of whether they are serving in army or not? What should be your answer? What are the kind of things you should bring up? Bring up things which, if you speak about, will show that you think about organization's betterment as well as improvement in terms of efficiency. How? I'll give you a small little example. Every time somebody gets posted to another unit or there is a transfer in our army, there is a huge paperwork involved. Okay. Bapini, you keep your site on mute.
sir,
Okay. Now, yeah. Now, the thing is, there is a lot of paperwork that happens the moment somebody gets transferred. Same thing happens when you go on leave. Your leave management system is still on paper. A lot of paperwork is there in Army. You can talk about that. Okay. Another thing you can talk about, for instance, is you can talk about food. You can talk about that
Sir,
without
your
making it
sound is not
sound like,
coming to me, sir.
guys, are you able to hear me? Ankita, you are able to
No,
hear
sir.
me?
No, sir.
No, Bapini, there's a problem with your setup. Okay, so Bapini anyway is gone. Now, so don't talk about all this. For instance, food. I'll give you a small little example. In army units, majority of army units, not all, what they do is the cook comes and he cooks the food for lunch as well as dinner in the morning itself. In summertime, many times it happens that by 4 p.m., 5 p.m., because of the high temperature, the food kind of gets spoiled. Okay, rotten, you can say. That is one problem we face. We can talk about that. Many of our units, they have old lines, pre-British era lines, which are still, made up of wood and all, due to which there is a huge problem of bed bugs. You can talk about that. Talk about those kind of things. Talk about increasing the efficiency of our organization rather than all this. Okay, pension, after pension we are not able to mingle up in society. 2 points which you mentioned, Bapini, that after pension you are not able to mingle up in your own society, in your village, and about this, not able to mingle up with people in other units. It clearly shows that you as a person have a huge social adaptability issue that will not really go down well with the assessor, be it GTO, psychologist, interviewing officer. Okay, and then in the end, you're talking about financial pension and all. Now, there will be a counter argument to it that there are a lot of provisions under, our laws. For instance, ex-serviceman quota, you can join a bank, you can join some other good government organization, police you can join, and there are adequate number of jobs for them. Agreed. A lot of our soldiers end up being bank guards, and that's not really something we feel positive about. But then there is another side to it as well. So you need to talk about that as well. Okay. So this whole lecturette is a perfect example for us to learn what we should not say in front of the group testing officer. Rather than our speaking skills and our mental acumen of gathering our thoughts, it is ending up revealing something very, very negative about our personality with respect to an officer's role. We are clearly giving confirmation that we are not fit to become an officer. Okay, so anyways, that was about what Bapini said. We'll stop here for today. It's already 52 minutes gone. It's 9:53. So we'll meet on Monday. We'll have a personal interview round on Monday. So everyone can leave now. Take good care of yourself and enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll meet on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.